Somebody asked me recently what I miss most about America. And I said the friendships. But what's funny is that I love the friendships in Norway too. They are both so special and so different. And this is something I think, along with sort of misunderstanding Norwegian politeness or friendliness, Norwegians can sometimes overgeneralize about American friendships being superficial. There's like a mutual misunderstanding, in my opinion. So here's what I think. The friendships in America are so intense. And that is so nice sometimes. I believe, my theory is the intensity comes from the fact that we're all sort of in like a sinking lifeboat and sort of dumping out the water together to help each other. And that could sound really dystopian. I talk about that here, but I mean in the little things. So for example, in America, when you have a baby, of course, we don't have paid maternity leave, or really any maternity leave. It's standard. When a woman has a baby, all her friends make a calendar for like 4 to 6 weeks, and they sign up for days to bring the family dinner, because the family now has 2 working people with no leave and a baby, and this is how we help each other. I offered to do this for a friend in Norway, and of course they accepted, but they'd never heard of this practice. That's because in Norway you have leave, like you have the space to make some food. You have free healthcare, so you don't have to worry about that while you have a new baby. You even get given a thing called a barsel, which is a word I've never heard of. It's like a group of other moms that had a baby around the same time as you. In America, we have to kind of make that resource for ourselves. It's not just handed to us. So this relates to the other video I posted about everything's a sell. Like your network could be the thing that saves you in America. You have to make your own barsel. So in that regard, like your friendship with somebody is often, very often, an act of service that's helping them get by. And I don't mean this in extreme dramatic ways. I mean like bringing the soup after someone has babies. So you feel so bonded to that person. You have this lifelong memory. I still remember the person who brought me the best salads after I had my second baby, and the person who turned me on to loving tacos because they brought me the best tacos that day. So you have this sort of like, I would call it maybe trauma bonding is the quickest way to say it, but I don't think it's quite that dramatic. You have this sense of like really being involved in somebody's life in a necessary way. Even our sort of like weekly beers after work, we were so overworked as professors that weekly socialization was like maybe the thing giving us a life raft to get through the next week. It just felt more vital and life-saving. So yes, I miss it. And when we have American friends over, I get really nostalgic or really filled with that. We had an American friend who lives in Oslo, who came to visit Trondheim, and we had them over for dinner because that's what you do in America. If there's a friend in a new city that might not have somewhere to eat for dinner, you just have them over, and like you feel like you've given so much to them, and that intensity is so nice. On the other hand, I don't say that it's better or worse. I miss it, but I remember after being here for a year, we went to one of the indoor pools with our kids with some neighbors, and I remember realizing like I can just be with my friend. I don't have to worry about if they're thriving, if they're surviving. I don't need to have this sort of burden about if they need my help. Of course, people help each other here. Don't mistake me. But you have a certain level of understanding that their basic needs are being met, and you can just exist together in company. And that was really nice. Like the peace I felt in realizing that in that pool that day was nothing else. At the same time, that makes them, for me, sometimes a bit more casual on the surface, right? That intensity is there. Like if I need something, I've posted about this, Norwegians are your ride or die. I think that intensity is on the surface in American friendships, and to Norwegians, it can look superficial because it takes longer for a Norwegian to get to that layer. The difference, and there's somebody, Kat here on TikTok, has posted this, it's the culture or the society that forces that cultural difference. It forces that intensity to the surface because we need each other so much more desperately. I think that intensity can be much quieter in Norway. And so I find both of those very, very sweet and life-giving in beautiful ways. If you can't tell, like I'm like a friendship nerd. I love friendship. I think it's the most beautiful relationship in the world. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on relationship differences.